Hi, everyone. Thursday night at the yarn shop, and I don't have a lot to say tonight, but a little bit. So it won't be long tonight, but I wanted to share. I love my new yarn so much. I wanted to share how I'm doing with my sweater. And I'm knitting Hohi's, what's the first part of it? But it's Ami or Amy. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. If it's pronounced like Ami in French, not sure. But it's a Hohi Locatelli sweater. And I have it right here. And Hohi usually has some interesting construction, and this sweater is no exception. So this is the back, and it's a little bit oversized. And this was, it's a little tiny bit big for the gauge of the sweater, but it's also a drop shoulder, and it has 10 to 12 inches of ease, so I know I'll be fine. I did, I don't always do what I tell people to do, and that's a bad thing. So I had to rip out a little bit, but now I am on track. And this is a really good sweater to do a swatch for, because a really big swatch saves a lot of time. And because it's not quite the same gauge, I would be knitting to my rows and not necessarily with a measuring tape. And if you need some more explanation on that, we can discuss that. Hi, Colleen. How are you doing tonight? Yeah. So when you do a swatch, when you knit a swatch or crochet a swatch, and you wash it, you block it the way you would if you were washing your sweater. Your swatch frequently comes out a little bit different size than when you are knitting it. So if you knit according to your swatch, you might knit fewer rows. Like sometimes, a sweater may not fit you just right after you wash it. It's because you should have knit to your swatch rows, not only your row gauge, but frequently to your not only your stitch gauge, but frequently to your row gauge. And I think I'm digging myself in deeper with the explanation, but maybe some of you understand it. Hey, Laura, you got home really fast and turned your computer on. Laura just saw this in person. So anyway, I'm really, really loving the sweater, and I am going to do all 5 colors. And I think my next color, I'm not sure what my next colors are. I have them lined up at home, but I know I have, I don't know what I have. I don't know if I have the yellow or the goldy orange. I think this is what I have. Ending this way, ending with the dusty denim. So I'm just really, really excited about my new yarn. And hello, Toby. I am putting a lot of things out on sale. And this week in Madeline Tosh, the Farm Twist and the Impression has been added to sale rack. I'm looking outside now because I haven't brought it in. And I have sold 3/4 to even a little more of the Tosh DK. And I don't think there's any sweater quantities of Tosh DK left, but Tosh DK makes great hats. Ricky hat is a great one skein hat. So think about your Christmas or any of your holiday gifts, not just Christmas, but any of your holiday gifts. Start making those hats, and Tosh DK is a great yarn to use. Allison, how are you? Where are you? Good to hear from you. If you don't know what, and the Tosh DK is now 50% off. If you don't know what Farm Twist is, it also knits up as a nice DK weight. And it's actually two, uh, I knew you were in Delaware, Allison. Hope it's all well and good down there. It's like 2 strands of Tosh Light plied together. So it's very soft because you don't feel you only feel the one ply as it's plied together. And right now it's 30% off, and there are some matching, this is a matching impression. It's supposed to be matching. It's a little pinker than this, but it probably would knit really nicely together. Would make a gorgeous hat together. Or sweater, because there are some sweater quantities. This is another one. This is one of my favorites, dark roast. Really pretty colors. So Allison has moved down to Delaware, and she's found a great knitting group. That's wonderful, Allison. I'm glad. So, and like even this brown, this is such a luscious brown. So there's definitely sweater quantity left of this. So I also just put out today, and as I've told everybody before, in case you've missed it, the pandemic has kind of changed my focus a little bit on what I want my shop to be. I've been doing a lot of felting for various farms and various other people, as well as for myself, for my own products that I've shared with you. And I'm really loving working with Mary Jean up at Battenkill Fibers, and working with farms and kind of developing new yarns. We've got another sock yarn that we're working on that's going to happen hopefully sometime before Christmas. But Rhinebeck takes precedence over everything right now. So last minute, we tag it no sleep in wool because there's just so many things to do. So I am putting a lot of yarn on sale because I'm making room for more local yarns, regional yarns, and I need room, and I also need the money to pay for it. So today I added a discontinued yarn from Rowan, and it is cashmere tweed. And I think they discontinued it because it didn't sell really well for them. It's 20% cashmere, so it's a little pricier, but it's half price now, so now it works. And I have 10 colors in this. So, excuse me, this was a really large cowl, but it took 4. So, 4 could make really a pretty nice scarf, because this was really pretty wide. So 4 to 6 would make a really lovely scarf. So, and there are 10 colors. So there are lots of things to be thinking about for gift giving. It's getting closer than we think. October 9th, just a reminder, Farm and Flea at Museum Village, from 10 to 4. And you can go onto the website. I think you can see the vendors now, www.hudsonvalleyfarmandflea.com. I will be there. Kathy will be there with me. Everything is outside, everything. So keep your fingers crossed for good weather. Tammy White from White Barn Sheep and Wool will be there, and I think she's bringing a sheep or a lamb. And yes, Allison, I'm going to be there. And I will have probably a lot of my felt things, and maybe some wool. Should take some wool, I guess. Another young girl who's a shepherdess and a shearer will be there, and I think she's bringing a sheep, and I think Catskill Merino. So there's like 4 or 5 woolly, sheepy kind of things. Maybe, I don't know if there's any alpaca farmers. I would think being over on that side of the county, there would be. And then a lot of local artisans. So it's a curated show, and it should be a lot of fun. So that's Saturday, October 9th. And then the weekend, I know I never can remember the exact dates for Sheep and Wool Festival at Rhinebeck because I always have to be there on a Friday. So it's either the 15th and 16th or the 16th and 17th. There's nothing, no activities, no workshops on Thursday or Friday. So it's just Saturday and Sunday. And again, I'm a horrible interviewer, but if you go, I'm just looking for a postcard. Let me just grab a postcard and don't look at, Lori, thank you. Yankee Rock Farm, that's Siri, Catskill Merino, Windfall Farms, and Wing and a Prayer. Those are the farms that will be at Farm and Fleet. And I'm really excited about being there. It should be a lot of fun. And Lori is putting this all together for us. And she's been really, really on top of everything, on top of all of us. So, and I will be representing the textile project. And thank you, Toby, the 16th and 17th. It's a good thing I have people looking after me. That's all I can say. The textile project, I will be representing the Hudson Valley Textile Project at Farm and Flee, Hudson Valley Farm and Flee. And I'll be talking about the supply chain in the Hudson Valley and what the textile project is all about. And part of that is we'll have a couple of items there that are made, like some hats and some mitts and some of the felt I do that comes from, it's grown in the Hudson Valley, sourced in the Hudson Valley, processed in the Hudson Valley, and the items are made in the Hudson Valley. So it's the entire supply chain, and it's absolutely wonderful. Oh, yes, and Lori, how do I say her name? Eliza Zaroff, and she is a photographer, and she will be there with this beautiful book of heritage, just heritage sheep or I think it's heritage animals. And if you've seen in the post office, took the photos of the heritage animals for the stamps. So she's going to be at Hudson Valley Farm and Fleet at Museum Village, October 9th. If you want to know more about the Sheep and Wool Festival on the 16th and 17th, you can listen to my podcast. You can find the Hudson Valley Textile Project podcast, Common Threads. If you are a podcast listener, you can find it there, or you can go to hvtextileproject.org and you will find the podcast there. And just be it known that I'm not a very good interviewer, but the three interviewees gave really, really good information about the Sheep and Wool Festival this year, because it still can't be the Sheep and Wool Festival that the mad crush of people that we always have every year there when we're in person. But I think there's been a lot of thought going into into planning it, so that I want to say there's minimal places for people to congregate. Big thing to know, though, if you plan on going or thinking about going, number one, you thinking about going, and you can listen to a little bit more about what to expect. All tickets are sold online, so you need to go to I think it's sheepandwool.com, and there will be a link to purchase your ticket online. If you get there, or someone gets there and they don't have a ticket, hopefully you have a smartphone and you can pull your phone out and purchase your ticket online. Again, that's to keep the lines down, and they'll have a better idea of how many people are actually on the grounds. Phew, I guess I said more than I thought I was going to say, and I guess I should apologize for that. Anyway, I don't have a whole lot more to say. I'm working kind of steadily on just getting things ready for these two shows, and been busy with sale yarn, which is really good so that I can pay for all this new yarn that I want. And a lot of good yarn on sale. So that said, everybody have a very good evening. Have a good weekend coming up and stop by the shop and say hello. Have a good night. Thanks for listening.